Communication with other human beings is a need that man has always had. But what happens when two people from different countries not speaking the same language and having different culture have to communicate? The aim of this thesis is to show the importance of culture, with its many nuances and its close relationship with the cultural linguistic mediator, as a figure who mediates communication between the parties involved. Culture is one of the most significant traits of humanity that influence every aspect of our human life. It has an immense value and is a real asset. In fact, in addition to contributing greatly to the formation of human personality, it can become a source of prosperity. Ever since the first human beings began forming communities, they have developed unique ways of living, thinking, and interacting with the world around them. This pattern of behavior, transmitted from generation to generation, have become the basis of culture. Its evolution throughout history has been a rich and complex process, influenced by the social, economic, and intellectual transformation of humanity. The first definition of culture was given by the British anthropologist Edward Burnett Taylor, who considered culture as the complex whole which includes knowledge, beliefs, art, moral, law, custom, and any other skill and habits acquired by man as a member of a society. A central aspect of Taylor's definition is the concept of acquired skills and habits. This emphasizes the idea that culture is not innate but is learned through interaction with the environment and the other members of society. Various models of the culture were developed over time, which, despite their different determine the verbal and non-verbal behavior of individuals, their choices in the way they relate to other human beings and their surroundings. It was the anthropologist Franz Boas who began to discuss the links between language, thought, and culture by sustaining that the form of language adopted is necessarily shaped by the state of culture, a theory that would later be pursued by several scholars and anthropologists, including Edward Sapir and Benjamin Lee Whorf, who developed the famous Sapir-Whorf hypothesis. This theory explored the link between language, thought, and culture, suggesting that language profoundly influences our perception of the world and the way we think. The hypothesis states that the cognitive development of each human being is influenced by the language he speaks. According to the two scholars, therefore, there is an interdependence between language and culture. In its broader form, culture represents the set of values, beliefs, tradition, artistic expression, languages, custom, philosophy, and the art shared by a group of individuals. But its significance goes far beyond this superficial definition, permeating every aspect of our lives and helping to define the very essence of humanity in an interconnected and diverse world. Indeed, people from all over the world bring with them a wide range of traditions, values, customs, and ways of life. In this context, the fundamental role of the linguistic-cultural mediator emerges as a professional figure who acts as a bridge between languages and culture, facilitating communication and promoting mutual understanding. He doesn't merely translate conversation between two or more speakers or different languages, but tries to break down the linguistic cultural barriers between the parties involved, whose culture usually have different customs, traditions, races, and religions. He must therefore have a true knowledge not only of the language of the foreign country he specializes in, but also of its culture and customs. Being a practice that has spread on a global scale and has become essential for communication between individuals speaking different languages, it is constantly growing as the world becomes more and more interconnected, with people moving, communication, working in multilingual and multicultural environments. In fact, in addition to linguistic cultural mediation, the mediator finds application in a wide range of fields, from healthcare to legal affairs, international relations, and so on. In the final part of my thesis, I chose to interview a young immigrant who has been living in Italy for several years. He is a 27 years old young man, Mahmoud El Hadwi, of Palestinian origin born and raised in Libya, who lived there until 2014. Mahmoud told me his story, how he decided to leave everything and run away together with his family, his journey together in Italy, his experience with the mediator, and how he then managed to build a new life for himself. Moreover, Mahmoud, inspired by these people, also became a linguistic-cultural mediator, determined to help people who found himself in the same situation as him. Thanks to him, I finally understood the importance of this figure, especially in such complicated context. So, the link between culture and cultural linguistic mediator is fundamental and profound. Culture plays a central role in people's life and great influence their language, behavior, values, beliefs, and thought patterns. And as already mentioned, the cultural linguistic mediator acts as a bridge between different cultures, facilitating communication and mutual understanding.